Hello, welcome to Network. My name is Pamela Lezondi with your technology and social media news, SABC Network. Now, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you about your thoughts on the return of those that have passed on into the world of the living and today's spaces with the use of artificial intelligence. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up in this episode. We have details on how tech can possibly assist in the rising unemployment in South Africa. Museum Africa is using a technology in some of its work. And in our conversation, we chat about Geek Culture's 15 young geeks. According to Statistics South Africa, unemployment increased by 1.1% in the first quarter of 2023. But there are initiatives that can assist in all of this, and some of them use tech.
The recent job report figures by Statistics SA show that the youth unemployment rate has increased by 1%, making the official national unemployment rate 32.9%. The report suggests that young people are the most impacted, with 15 to 34-year-olds accounting for a large portion. Recognizing that upskilling is essential for this demographic as they seek work, Guthe Institute says it is training young females across the country through its Diva Drones program.
We have a lot of projects within the institute that is geared towards young people. The two that stand out is Drone Divas, a project that right now is on it just ended to the third cohort, and there's going to be call for applications for a fourth cohort where young women who are interested in to be trained in drone technology can apply to be part of the project, the program. It's a 2-month program where we teach young women between the ages of 18 and 35 in drone technology, and we upskill them in entrepreneurship and also look to place them in drone companies.
The Institute says their skills training will have a significant impact on young people and the broader community.
It affords the youth and other people different opportunities around if they want to study abroad, they can go to Germany. If they want to work there, if they just want to interact with the German culture, visiting Germany. And of course, this is very important as we speak. There's a skilled workers shortage in Germany of over 600,000 skilled and people that Germany needs. So
many candidates in the program are self-skilled and have completed micro courses.
I wanted to be part of the Drone Divas training program because I want to move from script writing and go into production. So I wanted a way to sell myself, and because with 4IR coming into the play, I thought that having drone skills and having a drone license would help me in production.
I wanted to be part of the Drone Diva program as my company offers some of the drone services. So I wanted to learn about drones in depth, because whatever that I have learned, it was self-taught. So I just thought maybe if I could expand my knowledge in that, because we also offer those services.
Another program helping support young people with valuable skills in Johannesburg is Yabasadi. Founded by Wits University's Tsimologong Digital Innovative Crescent, the program is targeted at young female-owned businesses which are already trading and have a clear understanding of how tech can scale their businesses.
So this program has taken them through a process of including or incorporating user and payer insights and experiences into how the product development process happens. They've learned certain techniques and tools with regards to how to develop products for innovation. They've also learned how to develop and build business models that will support not only sustainability but also scaling in the long term. Now, critical for digital entrepreneurs is the consideration of ownership rights. So typically you'd find that as a product is being developed, a digital product that is, many players take part.
Yabasadi also equips participants with the critical skill and understanding of how to apply machine learning, data analytics, and IoT in direct relation to rapid prototyping.
They've also been taught how to deal with IP rights, issues of copyright, trademarks, etc., so that they have a good sense of who owns what and how it is that they can protect these rights. And that is all coupled within a strong governance structure. So how do they set up best to ensure that these businesses can run even when they're not there, but also to make sure that all the legal aspects are taken care of as they set up their businesses and not have these things come up later on when problems arise.
Both programs assist participants with work readiness and job placement opportunities.
We have placed women within drone companies for internships, and most of those women have actually been employed.
In the past 2 years, both programs have managed to place more than 3,000 young people in job opportunities.
And while some believe that the tech sector can also assist in reducing that employment rate that keeps on increasing in South Africa, there are others who seem to think that we want very expensive smartphones continuously, but do we really when the economic climate is the way it is? Statistics South Africa says the country's unemployment rate rose to 32.9% in the first quarter of 2023. The rand has even dipped to its lowest levels in history. This happens as the country suffers the worst power crisis ever. Despite all this, big smartphone brands are still launching their flagship devices. In the last year, Chinese smartphone maker Huawei launched a few devices that cost at under 10,000 rand. They say their Nova range is for the youth market. But in this first half of 2023, they've come with the Huawei P60 Pro at about 25,000 rand.
I think this is for someone who's even TikTok and above. So if you're looking for even more sort of prosumer kind of levels, where you want to do maybe even some YouTube kind of things, or you just want to do sort of great pictures and photography, this is definitely the device for you.
No two phones are the same. Huawei has added a unique back, which it prides itself on. I think it's a great sell if you think about it. 100 times zoom. I'm looking forward to testing that. We know that it's pretty packed. Its refresh rate is very compelling.
Huawei says while the pockets of many are suffering, there's room for such devices in South Africa.
Now we have 36 months contracts, so it becomes more affordable for people to be able to access the latest technologies and innovations. So yeah, well, times are becoming more difficult, but I think at the same time, considering what we are getting for the products and the pricing that they're being offered, it is relative and there is quite a bit of balance.
Recently, Oppo also launched their high-end Find and to Flip. Online, we found some websites selling the foldable device at under 30,000 rand.
We see the Find and to Flip as a fashion icon. It can fit into any pocket, any handbag, any pouch, and it just gets designed aesthetically. It's elegant, it's stunning, it's beautiful. Just like the technology and the design aesthetic of the device it's simply designed and it's just elegant.
They say theirs is a fashion device.
Other than the flipping aspect of it, which makes it fit into your pocket a lot easier, this is doing things that other flip phones have not done in terms of it's got a better battery, it's got a better camera, it's got the largest, outside display, which is actually making it more manageable for you to use the device without having to actually open it.
Despite the current economic climate and a drop in the luxury phone market since the end of the pandemic, various companies are planning releases of their new high-end devices. Samsung is expected to make big announcements at their upcoming Unpacked event. There are also major iPhone 15 expectations for later in the year. It's not a secret that a lot of people have stopped going to museums in the physical form. So museums themselves are trying to incorporate technology in the work that they do. And this has been happening with some 3D exhibitions that have been happening at Museum Africa in Johannesburg.
Okay, this is called the African 3D Map Maze exhibition, which was launched on the 26th of May 2023. So this concept, it is a concept that we thought, you know what, in this building we've got a lot of collection. We cover like 7 different types of collection that talks about, you know, the timeline of who we are as Africans. And we thought that a lot of people that are attracted in these museums are young people, but in most cases they want something interactive and something interesting. So normally when they come back, they want to see a change. And we thought, why not bring a digital aspect of it? Why not bring an IT side of things? Even though we're not IT experts as curators or collections managers and so forth, but bringing this element, it just proves that, you know what, we can integrate our collection, heritage collection, with technology. 3D-ness of our exhibition is about the projection of the African flags that are playing on the floor. If you can just look into the floor there. And because right now it is at a temporary space, it is going to move in a permanent space where even the projection of the map on the floor, the 3D-ness of it, will have its animation of the storyline behind it. But when you look into the videos themselves, you'll see that in the opening videos, you'll see a map with different kinds of puzzles. Then that was an idea to say that, you know what, when you enter into this exhibition, it is that thing that, you know what, we've been compartmentalized for a very long time, that as Africans, we are only good at this. As African, we can only do this much. But when you enter into the different spaces or the different touch screens, the different themes and the TV screens and whatnot, you'll get to understand that, you know what, we are more than what we have been given as the narrative as Africans. There is a lot of groundwork that needs to still be covered. Like for instance, our museum, we did have a bit of digital exhibitions here and there, but this is the only exhibition that is running on a digital space. So the future of it is that, you know what, we've got a lot of international guests where they need to go home and they need to have something to show or to remind them that I was in Museum Africa, I was a part of something. So this one, even if you can check our touch screens, we've got your QR codes that get to translate what is on the touch screens. Even the videos as well, they will be having their QR codes very soon, so that when people leave, they leave with something. Because, you know, with museums, you cannot take the objects. Yeah, you can take a picture, but when you take that part of the exhibition, it becomes a part of you. So that is the future of it, to say that we will not lag behind as museums, will not lag behind as heritage institutions, because in most cases, we have been found wanting as dull and boring and, you know, spaces that are just, you know, you put old stuff. But we are just showing that we move with the times. You know, the storyline behind our African 3D map maze. We know that in South Africa, or even in Africa, there's a lot of stories being told about us. You go to different museums, you go to different libraries and so forth, but there is still the element that we need to cover where people can live with a sense of patriotism. So when we covered the themes, it was to remind people that, you know what, there's a lot of negative impact that has been happening on the news, wherever you open social media and so forth. But now, if we let people to be reminded of who we are and the greatness that we have achieved as Africans in general, so even the young people, they will now be instilled with that sense of pride to say that we will not be marginalized only because of this gender-based violence or poverty and so forth. Let us be reminded that, you know what, there was Queen Nefertiti, there was Mapungu Boy, there was, you know, the Kingdom of Kush. So what is it that they contributed? What is it that they've achieved? You know, scientific inventions, even your language, your medicine and so forth. So when you go through this exhibition, it is to instill that pride, to say, you know what, as an African, I am more than what I am.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. After the break, we chat about geek cultures of 15 young geeks. Stay with us. SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back. It's Youth Month, and here on Network we decided to honor some young people who are in the technology space, and an initiative called Geek Culture 15 young geeks, gives a platform and observes some of those who are doing great work in the tech space if they're under the age of 35. To tell us more about this initiative is Kitumeti Itsodeti, who is part of Geek Culture. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network, Kitumeti. Maybe if you can start by telling us what a 15 Young Geeks is all about.
So the 15 Young Geeks is an initiative that Geek Culture has along with IT Web and Brainstorm Magazine. And I guess by virtue of Geek Culture being a tech hub for people to come and network and share knowledge, what we do there is recognize people who are making a very positive impact to the tech industry.
So you say you go broader than the hard tech skills like coding and the like. Why is it important to have what you'd call soft skills in the technology sector?
People have a lot of skill in explaining the functionality of their solutions, but they don't necessarily always have the skill to talk the business side and how feasible their solutions are, who their user base should be. And I guess from a hackathon perspective, which is what we do a lot at Geek Culture, when you work in teams, that is where you engage with what we call these soft skills.
Gidumetse, what kind of skills and solutions that they come up with at the hackathons that you sometimes organize?
They come up with some amazing projects. I mean, we have in Parliament the other day, they were actually mentioning some of the projects that some of our participants have worked on. I think one of the biggest ones was looking at how we can actually coordinate ambulances and ensure that there is efficient usage of that mechanism in the medical field. We had a hackathon over the past 2 days at IT Web Security Summit, and our youngest participants, called I'll Go at Work Mafia, they created a solution that checks the security of links that are sent over WhatsApp. And that's something that's really important because you just go onto WhatsApp and it's a very easy mechanism to do what we call phishing and gathering information. You know, the elderly are very susceptible to this, and so it really helps when you get that flag to say, hey, this is not secure.
You yourself have been part of the Mail and Guardian's 200 Young South Africans list, and I believe this was in 2021. How does being honored like that feel for you?
It feels amazing, you know. For me personally, I wasn't necessarily working towards it, so it's not necessarily something that I was doing because I wanted this award, but it really is great to see that you can put yourself fully into something and it will be recognized. It also does open doors because when you then make requests for sponsorship, because we are an NGO, we do need a lot of sponsors to help us with these initiatives for raising the community. And when you say, I was in the top 200 Mail and Guardian in 2021, they then know that there's sort of a badge of honor and trust that they can put on you. It's been absolutely amazing. Even so, I'm double hatting. I have a job that I do during the day and I do Geek Culture at night. So it also helps at work to say, look, guys, we need to do something. You know, we can't just sit around and wait. We can't just sit and say there's a skills gap without being intentional about going into the community.
Yeah, that also shows that you've done some really incredible work. But do you think that there are enough spaces and initiatives that honor young people in the technology space?
I think there's definitely a long way to go. I love that the tech awards are getting their recognition, but a lot of the time what we see is people who are very senior and at very high levels that are getting their recognition, who have put their life's work into this, and it is important to recognize them. But there's so many people in the youth who are very deliberate about contributing. And like I say, it's not always working to get recognition per se, but it does sort of give you a big hug, you know, to say, wow, I'm doing something amazing and it's contributing positively to society. And let me go back to maybe the school that I went to talk to about this, so that people can know that they too will one day reach this level that they might think is unattainable, but actually anything is attainable. There's enough of everything for everyone.
Spoken with such a passion, Geek Dumetsi. Thank you very much for being a part of our network. That's Geek Dumetsi Tsodetsi there, who is with the Geek Culture. It is SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Don't go away. SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back. Here's what else happened in the rest of the world in tech.
Apple Inc. barged into Meta's metaverse party on Monday, June 5th, unveiling an augmented reality headset called the Vision Pro, its riskiest and biggest bet since the introduction of the iPhone. Vision Pro will start at $3,499, more than 3 times the cost of the priciest headset in Meta's line of mixed and virtual reality devices that currently dominate the AR/VR market.
Introducing Apple Vision Pro. Vision Pro is a new kind of computer that augments reality by seamlessly blending the real world with the digital world. It's the first Apple product you look through and not at. Vision Pro feels familiar, yet it's entirely new. You can see, hear, and interact with digital content just like it's in your physical space. And you control Vision Pro using the most natural and intuitive tools, your eyes, hands, and voice. With Vision Pro, you're no longer limited by a display. Your surroundings become an infinite canvas. Use your apps anywhere and make them any size you want. Capture photos and videos and relive your most important memories in an entirely new way. Watch your movies, shows, and sports, and immerse yourself in games on a giant screen surrounded by spatial audio. And connect with people as if you're sharing the same space.
Apple's headset will be available early next year in the US, with more countries coming later in 2024. And now in the UK.
Should people be worried about AI in the perception?
Yes, people should be aware of the potential risks associated with AI and robotics. However, it is important to remember that these technologies can also have a positive impact on our lives if used responsibly.
This is Amika, a humanoid robot that can be asked a question and respond in a human-like manner. Combined with her world-leading animatronics, it's possibly the closest humans can get to having a conversation with a real-life robot.
The focus for the last year or so has been language models. So you'll have heard a lot about ChatGPT, GPT-3, GPT-4. So we've done some work on integration. There are many other models outside of the OpenAI ones that we hear about. We're also integrating vision components, recognizing faces, expression estimation, body pose estimation. So combining visual information with audio information. This particular model of Amika is a desktop model, so it's designed for research applications where you're really just concerned with facial expression and communication.
Jackson added that the aim was to create a robot capable of integrating with human society. And now we go to China. An innovative smart farmland in Wuhu city of East China's Anhui province has successfully standardized the rice cultivation process. This resulting in notable improvements in efficiency and output. Local farmers can now easily monitor and control cultivation using a dedicated mobile app. It collects comprehensive data on the entire life cycle of rice, including disease, pest management, and soil fertility.
2018年的时候，来正式接触这个高科技，包括我们智能化这一块，跟过去那个传统耕种的模式啊，是翻天覆地的。过去啊，我父亲那时候跟那个 耕种农业这一块啊，基本上都是每年都不够吃，所以我这几年我大力在扭转土地，就是说这块不是说农业上面没有的出路，而是很有大大的出路。
Advanced technologies such as big data, cloud computing, and AI have made remarkable improvements in farmers' production and lifestyle in China.
On various social media platforms, we've been seeing a lot of work that's been uploaded by people who are sharing photographs of those that have passed on. This week, our social media poll is asking you about your thoughts on this. That's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at SABC.co.za and email from Ms. Pumela Lezondi and the rest of the team. Bye-bye.